Hello and welcome along to the start of a brand new season of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 4, episode 1, and today we're back with Halifax Town as we look to see our Director of Football's work over the summer and play our Carabao Cup tie against Rotherham. Yes, and you may notice for the first time in this series you can see my face in the corner of the screen. It's the first few days with the camera, so I'm sure there'll be some errors along the way, but let me know down in the comments if there are and we'll correct them as we go along in the episodes. But we're playing our Carabao Cup tie today as well, partly because it's been a quieter window than expected, and also because it's an early start to the season. I forgot it's the year that's affected by the Winter World Cup, so we're starting in late July this time round. We've got Rotherham, which is going to be a tough game. They're up in League 1, so we're not expecting an easy one. A 2.5-star reputation side, and one of the better sides in League 1 as well. We've then got a tough run at the start of the League 2 season, including a couple of the key rivals from last year as well, and a couple of the sides that have come down from League 1, which is going to make it a really difficult test. But we're going to go and have a look at the transfer action in a moment, but first a massive thank you to everyone who's followed the series so far. If you are enjoying it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It does make such a difference to how the video performs. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe for daily FM20 content from this long-term story in our Dorking Wanderers series too. And if you've missed any of the action so far in this one, you can click back in the eye above to catch up with the series so far. But the early start to the season means we probably haven't got the full transfer window to talk about, but there has still been a little bit of action in and out the club. So firstly, I'll go and set up so you can see the release players. There is one we're making a loan bid for at the moment. Of course, in this series, as a reminder, the Director of Football controls transfers, contracts and staffing. We do absolutely nothing with it at all, and you can see he's saving quite a lot of the budget for the club, so we've not had too much improvement so far. But I'll set up the release players so we can look first, just to see who's been leaving the club, and then we can look at what replacements have come in and whether they're going to be enough to really help us. So let's start with those players who were given a free transfer. 7 of them in total leaving the club, all of them in the first team squad last year, although with differing levels of influence. Of course, the only one who was really in the first team regularly was Michael Duckworth, the experienced right-hand sider. A good player and still not found a new club. A really good servant for Halifax in the last 6 years. In fairness to the Director of Football, he did offer him a new deal, but unfortunately he turned it down, and that goes for a couple of the other ones as well, although most of them he just wanted to get rid of. So the likes of Josh Staunton and Jerome Bingham-Williams both were on the bench for us quite regularly last season. Of course, they were already on a transfer list when we joined the club, and neither of them got renewed deals in the end, so Bingham-Williams didn't really suit our style. It's not a problem that he's left the club. The problem is more that we haven't got the amount of replacements in we need, which means we're a little bit lighter at the start of this year. Josh Staunton the same, played a few games in the holding role for us, not many starts at all really, and again not probably good enough for League 2 level, but again we really need replacements if they're going to be leaving. Ben Hennigan, another one, made a couple of appearances for us, a 3rd or 4th choice centre half at the time. He's gone and we have got one man in for him, probably not much of an upgrade though actually, a little bit quicker though, which suits our style, so we don't have to worry about a deeper defensive line. We've got 3 others who didn't make any appearances I don't think. Will Appleyard was the 3rd choice keeper, then Jack Etheridge was the 3rd choice right winger. Jamie Allen I think was 4th choice on that side, so none of them even really worth a look at, but we have lost a few players out the first team squad. If we go to all transfers though, you can see a few others have gone on loan. Most of them were on the loan list from last season. A lot of them were out of contract, but they did get new deals, probably just because they've got relatively good potential, and our Director of Football's been keen to get them out the club, which has more importantly meant they're off the wage bill. But the disappointment you can see is there's only 4 coming in, and a few of those are backup players at best. In fact, I don't think there's anyone there who would be in our first 11, which is probably where this issue's going to be this season. We need to work the loan market in the last few weeks, otherwise we're going to have a pretty weak squad this year. What it has meant with the likes of Will Swan leaving is that we have had to go to a more direct tactic. We haven't got a number 10 naturally, we haven't got really high quality players, and we've obviously lost Solomon on the left wing as well, so we're playing a much more narrow formation, just trying to take advantage of our best players, and the ones that are in the team who aren't naturally the best, we just want to take advantage of their good attributes. But the 5 that have gone out on loan, most of them aren't worth a mention. Only Jay Rollins and Fowler were on the bench occasionally last year. Rollins was our backup right winger, he's 28 years of age now. I presume he was loaned out because he was transfer listed. No one wanted to buy him, so they're paying all of his wages, and for that reason the Director of Football sent him to Stockport. In terms of the backups, then the Fowler was the other one. He's gone to Welling again of lower league football. He's on over 1,000 a week and he's got it all being paid for, though we could have done with a better backup than him. We haven't really bought in someone of that quality, so he could have been someone that was worth keeping around. But either way, we've got 4 players in so far, and I'm sure there'll be a little bit more action to come. I criticise the director of football as they're so quiet during the transfer window, and in October, November they sign free agents, and suddenly it all comes to life again. But this time it's not the case with our director of football. He has made bids for so many players, 7 or 8 different ones that have rejected us, a mix of loans, free agents, first teamers and backups, but a lot of them have chosen to go to National League clubs just because they've got bigger reputations and they can offer better wages as well. So we've got a reputation that's the lowest of any club in League 2, lower than half the sides in the National League, so players have been rejecting us for the likes of Torquay and Stockport. We just can't compete with those level of clubs. They've got the same sort of gate, they can get bigger players in, and they've got a better reputation and bigger name manager as well. But we have managed to get 4 in so far. We almost had a reunion too. One of the players who rejected us was Olli Mccoy. Well, you may remember we had him at Kettering for a while. Our director of football made a bid for him actually. He was only going to be a backup, so I'm pretty glad he didn't join. But 1.3 grand a week paid by Stockport, a non-league side with a bigger reputation than us, and we just can't compete with sides in lower divisions, which means we've ended up with a bit of a trim squad. But the 4 that have come in, let's focus on them. First is a backup central defender. With Hennigan leaving, we needed a third choice centre half. Anthony Stewart is going to be that man. 29 years old, 2.5-star ability, no further potential of course either. On a lower wage and has played for Wickham at this level before, so plenty of good signs in that regard. But he has had a few problems with injuries recently and he's not quite the player he once was. Second is Jack Lambert. He's a central midfielder and number 10, again a free agent at the end of June. 2.5-star ability, but this time younger with 3.5-star potential. Can play in those positions and on the right of midfield. A really decent young player actually. And he's not the hardest worker in the world either, so he needs more technical ability if he's going to be that type of player. But only 450 quid a week, no real gamble whatsoever for him. And he's made a couple of appearances for the likes of Scunthorpe and Dundee, so he's got decent experience and potential, and hopefully we'll be able to get a bit out of him. Third along the list was Sam Osborne, just a backup winger for the meantime. 2.5-star ability, 3.5 potential, again cheap wages as a fringe player. He's very good physically, but he hasn't got much else. Played for St Albans at the lower level, and he's also made quite a few appearances for Notts County, so a decent player who's played for some good clubs. And then finally so far is our replacement for Binham Williams. Joss Askew is going to be our backup left winger. Played in non-league for Harrogate and Curzon Ashton in the past. 2-star ability, 3-star potential. Again, very low wage. It seems to be familiar. Just getting in enough players to bolster the squad. And then he'll try and use the loan market to get 2 or 3 stars in. And hopefully we'll see that over the next few weeks. But a decent player again, good enough as a backup. So we look forward to working with him for the year. And interestingly, that minimum 2-year deals in the club culture not happened for any of these 4. So it obviously feels like it's just stopgap replacements from the director of football as he tries to bring in his preferred targets. But 4 signings into the club, a few of them will feature today in the Cup. We've also made a big change to our tactic too. But firstly, a few of you asked at the end of last season, we didn't take a look at how Kettering got on, and the main reason for that is because the episode was so long, so let's go and do that very quickly now. We obviously played the first part of the season with Kettering. We had them up in promotion contention in the National League North. We were really chasing the top spot there, and it looks like they've been promoted, so they did finish the job. Let's just see where they finished last season. I presume with York winning the title, which they did, it was playoffs and then promotion via that route. So let's look at where they finished in the table, in second where we left them to join Halifax. Really good to see that they lost less games than anyone else, showing our reputation for making them hard to beat, and they carried that on through the rest of the year. Who's their manager now actually? Simon Weaver, the former Harrogate man, a really good manager at that level too, so the perfect man to take over from us, and he's done a really good job with them as well. But let's meet our new tactic and play today's game, get our focus back on Halifax Town. Rotherham favourites as you'd expect, they're playing in a higher league. We've got Johnson the goalkeeper and Cerula the left back doubtful, so we're of course a little bit shorter than we would be normally. So our new tactic is very similar to the other series. We're playing with Dorking Wanderers in that one. We've got 2 attacking wingers and we're just trying to pump the ball into the box and really take advantage of 2 good strikers. We've got a little bit of a lack of quality at the back and in midfield on the wings if we're honest, although some of the best players are being rested or injured, so we are a little bit weaker than we would be normally. We're resting players because we've got our league game in 3 days, and that's far more important than this cup game. So the likes of Cerula who's injured, we're not risking him. We've also left Junior on the bench for today. The same for Ed Francis and Jack Earing, probably 4 of our star players in the squad. The early start to the season means a few struggling with fitness too, so we're going to have to compete with that as we go through today. But our starting 11 is as followed, and we'll talk about how we're going to try and play as well. So we've got Jake Turner in goal, who finished last year as number 1, Jacob Hansen and Josh Askew, the new signing of fullbacks, Louis Lomas joined by Anthony Stewart as centre-back. The new signing won't be a ball-playing defender, that's there just for when Ed Francis is in the team, as he can play those through balls to the striker. We've got Liam Nolan joined by De Maio in the middle, that's just because we're resting Jack in. Lambert in on the right for Junior, Danny Lloyd starting on the left wing today, and then Southwell joined by Sam Smith up front, the big target man who we're just going to try and cross it in for. We're going to try and whip the balls in towards him. He really has been a good player for us in the past. Off the bench he's had a long goal drought, but he's a really big threat for us in the air. So we're going to completely change our tactic, go slightly more direct with our passing, so we're going to try and play a bit more long ball, hit early crosses from deep positions, try and get knockdowns off the likes of Sam Smith, and then knock in goals with Southwell or on rushing midfielders. In addition to that, we've upped the tempo slightly, distributed long towards our target man with the keeper, and we've also gone a little bit deeper there, not so much intensity with the pressing, and we're not trying to counter press when we lose the ball, we're just trying to get back in 2 banks of 4. So I'm hoping all of that will work out, although we probably won't see the best exhibit of it today. We're trying to play with a bit of a backup side, and some of them are hashed together in poor positions. For this game only, I'm going to drop the 2 wingers back, just because we're playing against the League One side, but let's get into it and see how we're able to compete. I would imagine the answer's probably going to be not very well. Well, 4-4-2 for Rotherham as well, plenty of familiar names in there. Grant Hanley at centre-half, Matt Crooks in the middle, the likes of Sanchez in goal and Vassell up front as well. A couple on the bench that we recognise too, some really good players across the park for them. So let's go and talk to our lads. I'd imagine that's a slightly rotated side for them as well, which probably shows just how strong they are. But let's drop our wingers back to wide midfield duties and see if that makes a difference as we try to hold them off. The long ball game's going to be harder against these sides as they're going to be better in the air defensively, but let's get into the first half and see if we compete and whether the lads are adapting to the new tactic. I should very quickly show you actually on the dynamic screen just how good the team cohesion is with this tactic. It seems like it suits the players that are left at the club, and everything else including the manager support's good too. It took a little while, but we've got the players on side, our reputation's edging up to match theirs, and it's the good point with this being a low reputation team at this level, they're not so expecting a big name manager. It's Sanchez in goal for Rotherham with time, long ball downfield towards the centre forward, and it's knocked down, but we've got 2 men there. Lomas really struggling to deal with it. A minute gone, the highlight ends, but we're back with the corner almost immediately. Wiles delivers an in-swinger, headed over the bar as Lomas loses out. We have tweaked our instructions from set pieces as well, although mainly we've taken effect going forward. So defensively, we've just got to trust our back 4. We've got the all-man mark in there as well, and Lambert tries to win a header on his debut, but he's been beaten in the air quite easily there. Over to Wiles on the left, really good challenge. Lomas keeps it in on the right as well, and that may be a mistake as his clearance is awful, undone all of his hard work immediately, and Crooks picks the ball up 30 yards out. He's got a man overlapping on the right. To Teller back to Crooks again, and here comes the right back on the overlap. Olasunde into the box, Stewart heads away, only as far as Teller, the right back though. Back to Crooks again. They've got so many men over, they're dominant in possession. Wiles picks the ball up, they're keeping it easily, and the overlapping fullback's in again. Nolan blocks the first cross in the second time, and Danny Lloyd eventually hacks it away. To halfway, but it's coming straight back at us. We've just got no foothold in this game whatsoever, and the overlapping fullbacks are skinning us easily. Hansen's not able to compete on the right. Vassell back to Lindsay, there goes the goal. Keeper beaten at his near post. Looked like it went straight through the arms of Turner actually, and although Rotherham started superbly and deserved the lead, it's really not a very good way to concede. With a kick-off, we're immediately seeing a highlight. I think we're going to see hundreds in this game, and in fact we're going to go and drop back to key highlights, as otherwise we're going to be here all day. So we'll just try and reduce the amount that we see. Hopefully it won't be quite as bad, and as we drop to key highlights, Rotherham are coming forward again. Jacob Hansen hacks the ball long. Southwell's got the good first touch in, gets through and puts it in for Smith, but he's so slow to target man. He manages to get there though. Awful defending from Rotherham, but a clear-cut chance having gone round the keeper, and he still manages to force a save from Sanchez. How on earth he didn't put it in, I don't know. The clear-cut chances bug strikes again, as Robertson picks it up for Rotherham on the attack. He finds Vassell, who plays a 1-2 with him. Robertson over to the right straight to the teller. What on earth's happening with our fullbacks here? We get overlapped so easily. Teller's crossed again into Wiles, whose shot's blocked, but Clark the left back's there to deliver, and Vassell puts it in the back of the net. Can someone please tell me what I can do here? I'm going to actually switch to defensive wingers, I think, but I don't think it suits either player here, and our fullbacks are already on defensive duties. So I'm going to drop to a cautious mentality, drop the defensive line a bit deeper as well. I've no idea how to mitigate the overlapping fullbacks, as we're not adapting to our tactic well at all. With 15 minutes in, Rotherham have had 8 shots already, Halifax sinking without a trace according to the commentary, and having watched 15 minutes of this game I'd agree, they've been completely dominant with a back just a minute later. We've gone down to key highlights and we're still seeing one a minute as Wiles delivers from the left again, into Olasunde who heads in. It's 3-0 after 16 minutes. I have no idea what to do here. I knew it was going to be a long day at the office, but I wasn't expecting it to quite be this bad. Our defensive fullbacks aren't doing anything at all, and how they've got a 6.7 still, I really ain't quite sure at the moment. Hansen at right back again, all the way back to the keeper, and we're conceding possession so easily, and I'm not quite sure how we get back into this. Even so, I just want to stop the flow. I'm not sure how we do that either. A long ball forward is pretty aimless, and Lindsay picks it up on halfway. He's coming forward again in the middle. It looks like if you don't press, they just come forward at will, and although we've still got it on a balanced pressing mentality, it's not quite as intense as normal. Clark on the left-hand side here. Hansen's just let him walk past. He didn't even put in a tackle, he just stood up and let him go by, and with 20 gone it's still 3-0, but it could easily be 4 or 5 if Rotherham want it. Lambert picks the ball up from a poor goal kick though. Can we finally have a shot on goal? Hansen to Nolan in the centre circle. He finds De Maio with a through ball. Good one for Lambert, who's in one-on-one. On his debut, can he score? He can't. He hits the target, but it's straight at Sanchez, and it's behind for a corner kick to Halifax. Good to see us getting forward at last though. We've actually had more clear-cut chances than them, but we already know that means nothing in this game, as unfortunately none of them go in. Southwell on the right-hand side to Nolan. Back to Lambert again on that right midfield role, covering in a position he's not entirely comfortable, and you could tell from his finish he wasn't confident either. Rotherham let the ball run out for a goal kick, and we're not getting any let up with the highlights. I'm just checking, it has gone down to key highlights. We've seen nearly all of this 20 minutes so far. Going to be a lot of work to cut out some of the less important ones as Hansen gets the ball at right back for us. Back to Nolan in central midfield. He finds De Maio, who's covering today. Long ball over, can Southwell finish? Normally so reliable from the one-on-ones, but even he's put that one straight at the keeper. 3 clear-cut chances now, no goals. All of the shots straight at the goalkeeper Sanchez. And if clear-cut chances were working in this game, we'd probably actually be ahead. Nolan into the box. Smith loses out in the air. Falls for Southwell over on the left wing. He's got a chance to cross the ball, but instead gives it away with a short pass. A quarter of the game gone. We trail 3-0, despite dominating the clear-cut chances in this match, but the normal problems that are affecting us here, and it looks like that's going to be across both saves. Wiles with the ball into Robertson, heads it in unmarked for 4-0, and all that work we've did on defending set pieces has been completely ruined in this game. 2 headers unmarked in the 6-yard box, and this couldn't have been much more of a nightmare. Still 10 to the break, we're back with Turner in goal, only a minute between highlights yet again. The kick gives away, but Lambert wins it, flicked on by Southwell to Nolan. He's in one-on-one, I'm sure we know what will happen. A clear-cut chance which is beaten by a slide tackle. Took ages to get the shot away, and a defender gets there as the ball falls for Southwell on the edge. Back to De Maio, who shoots his shots comfortably wide, and with 4 clear-cut chances we've scored no goals. Rotherham getting 4 from their 1. Just because you can score screamers easily, headers are so easy to score in this game too, so we're not being rewarded by a lot of our chances. A 5th clear-cut one here with Smith, again is straight at the keeper. 5 clear-cut chances in 35 minutes, trailing 4-0 because we haven't scored any of them. This is absolutely ridiculous. We've made a tactic which has carved the defence open, but the lads aren't able to take any chances. It's not like we've got awful players up there. Sam Smith finishing 11, composure 10, pretty good at this level in truth. And again Southwell finishing 11, composure 12, but none of those chances being taken. So at half-time it's 4-0 to the League One side Rotherham. Really flatters them based on that first half. They've only actually had 5 shots on target, albeit we've gifted them a couple from poor marking, but we've had 5 clear-cut chances at the Rotherham goal, and every single one has gone straight at the keeper. I'm sure those of you that play regularly know how frustrating it gets, particularly when we're competing over the 90 minutes, but we're going to tell the lads they've been terrible. I don't agree with it at all. Defensively we've not been anywhere near our best, but going forward we've created so much more. 5 minutes gone in the second half and we're seeing our first highlight in our defensive area, again getting pressed high up the pitch as Smith flicks the ball on towards Southwell. It didn't work, but it's the right idea as Rotherham are in at the other end and they've now had a clear-cut chance which is missed too. Jake Turner tipping it behind for a corner. At least that one wasn't straight at him, he had to force a good save out of him as Wiles delivers his through for everyone again. We're really struggling to defend set pieces. Teller on the right with a cross, a good block out by number 19. Who's that? Who's signing Lambert over there? He's worked really hard today, to be fair to him. Did miss one of those clear-cut chances, but otherwise put in a pretty decent display. We've got a warning for Marcus Stewart to be marked. Anthony Stewart, to mark a striker, as we pick the ball up high up the pitch again, and Lambert charges through the whole team. Into Southwell, who's in one-on-one. Sixth clear-cut chance saved by Sanchez. Straight at him and cleared away for a throw-in. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. Nearly an hour gone. We're going to demand more from the lads. They've put in such a good effort, to be honest. A few of them nervous, so we're just trying to curb that as Rotherham go for a long switch of play. Danny Lloyd intercepts it on the left, beats his man with a good pass as well. Can he find a through ball to Smith now? Doesn't. He goes back to De Maio. He'll start again with a long ball over, puts Lloyd in at the other end, one-on-one, shot and in. Finally a clear-cut chance is scored, our 7th clear-cut chance of the match, and at last we managed to break the score sheet. Still 4-1 down because we missed the other 6, not even testing the keeper too much, but good to see that we have managed to get 1 goal. Our players certainly deserve that, if not more. 20 to go. We're going to make some changes just to try and rest some of our first team players. We need to protect fitness ahead of the weekend's game, so those who will be involved will get a little rest. I want to see some of the youngsters in action as well, so Charlie Ball's going to come on up front. He's going to replace Southwell, go as an advance forward on attack. We know that role works in this tactic. We've done it so well in the other series as well. We've then got Jacob Hansen, who's frustrated and struggling for fitness too. Tommy Williams will come on for him. He's a really poor fullback, but we've got to use him here as we've not really got too many other options. And then Ed Francis will come on at left centre half. Stewart will swatch over to the right, and then Louis Lomas will get a rest for the weekend, which means that we've only got Nolan still playing now. The keeper as well obviously will be involved, but we've given most of them a little bit of a rest. Erin and Junior will stay on the bench for the 90, which should help us out against Plymouth. If we keep wasting 7 clear-cut chances a game though, I'm not quite sure what more we can do, as Force has a free header from the corner again, but this time it's gone comfortably wide of the post. Here's Turner, the goalkeeper, with a long kick forward, over to Danny Lloyd on the left wing there, but the right back does well for Rotherham to intercept, and now Teller can charge forward down that side. He goes back to Hanley, the centre half. Long ball over to the left wing, Williams heads away to substitute, Lambert brings it down for Liam Nolan, one of the few first team survivors on the pitch now. He's going to try and go long, is he? Just waiting for that through ball and run, but in the end he finds Sam Smith. He's in one-on-one again, 8th clear-cut chance, and he's put it wide this time. This is getting laughable now. 8 clear-cut chances, we've only scored 1. We trail 4-1 at home to Rotherham. I have no idea how we've lost this game 4-1. We've been absolutely brilliant in terms of creating chances, but the final whistle goes, it is a 4-1 defeat, and let me know in the comments how on earth we rectify that. Let's very quickly go and see what the media said about the game. I'll tell the lads we're disappointed when I don't really agree, and we're not going to be in that second round draw, but there are some promising signs ahead of the League 2 season. Well, it says Rotherham coast past us, but 8 clear-cut chances we had. I'm really starting to get frustrated with it now. Halifax are out of the first round of the Carabao Cup, though Lambert, Stewart and Askew all made debuts, so some positive signs in that at least. They're going to be ready for their place on the bench at the weekend. So let's go and have a look at the schedule to see when we're next going to be back. I want to try and tie it in with the end of the transfer window, which I think on this game is still the end of August. Let me just skip ahead, excuse the mouse clicking. It is the 31st of August, so we'll be back for the first 2 matches of September there. A home double header against Bolton and Tranmere, 2 very reputable sides at this level. So hopefully we'll have some big signings to talk about then. Our director of football already trying for one big loan one as we mentioned, so hopefully he'll come in alongside a couple of others, though if another club comes in for them, we're almost certainly going to lose out at this level. Let me know in the comments what you think of the work he's done so far. Of course it is a little bit limited at the moment, but he's not for the want of trying. He's been trying to get signings in. We've just not got the reputation to compete with other clubs. But if you did enjoy this episode and that bizarre game against Rotherham and the transfer special with signings in and out, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate it. It makes such a difference to the video performance. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the window, what other positions our director of football will strengthen, and hopefully you'll be right in the next episode, as there's a couple of positions that are particularly weak. Of course, that performance against Rotherham though, and creating 8 clear-cut chances, came with 4 or 5 first-teamers missing out, so there are some really positive signs going forward, though our defending left a little bit to be desired. If you haven't already, then please subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one will be back with our first League 2 action on camera this season. That'll be in 2 days' time at 4:30. And in the meantime, we'll be back with Dorking Wanderers tomorrow, a crucial decisive game at the end of the season. We've got our last 2 fixtures as we're fighting for promotion, and 2 good results could get us over the line. Finally, I'm also part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews, and the link to that's in the eye above if you haven't caught up already. A massive thank you to everyone that supported the recent ones. They've really gone through the roof in recent weeks, and we can't thank you enough for your continued support. It really does mean a great deal to us. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support of the series ahead of a new season. I really do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if there's any mistakes with the camera. I'm sure there'll be a few as we go over the first couple of weeks, but I hope to see you next time for another big episode as we get going in our League 2 campaign.